So, Pat, you and I go back almost 11 years, and it's been quite a journey. I remember making a phone call to you, and I believe the words I said, you remember them better than I do, is, "Hey, Pat, I found what you're looking for." And that was
Yes.
in June of 2009, so almost 11 years ago. You're on this product as long as anybody. So could you tell us a little bit, Pat, about where you were when ASEA kind of crossed your path when I made that phone call, and kind of some of the transformations that you saw in your life?
Sure. I'm happy to, and I thank you for asking me on. I had a memory challenge. I had many things, but that was the most pressing and depressing thing. Both of my parents had suffered from this challenge, and I felt like there was no answer for me. And I also had really bad discomfort that went down the hip, down the side of my thigh, to the shin, to the top of my foot for 8 years. Nobody could get rid of it, but they wanted to put me on narcotics. And so I am a praying woman, and I prayed. I said, I want something natural, God. You know where it is. Either lead me to it or send it to me. I just don't want to go on these drugs. And 2 days later, because I said, you know where it is. I don't know where it is. You know where it is. And you know what I'm looking for. And so 2 days later, Alan Noble called me out of nowhere. And the first words out of his mouth were, Pat Gillis, I found what you're looking for. It was almost eerie because I knew what I had said. So in my heart, I knew that God had sent him to me. He may not have realized it, but I did. And so I tried the product, and in 4 days, the challenge that went down my leg for 8 years. And for the first time in 8 years, I slept a very restful sleep. It was just amazing. So I said to my husband, we can't afford this. We got to sell this because I can't go back to that. I can't go back to that. And I stayed on it, and I've been on it 10 years, almost 11 years, and I've never had it since. It's that challenge on my leg was gone and my back. And then I had another challenge that was very pressing with this memory challenge. I would do crazy things. The refrigerator door would be standing open, water running in the sink. If I went to the refrigerator, I couldn't remember what I went for. It got so bad that I went out in my car. I was going to go to Milford, 8 miles away, and I got in my car. It was about 90 degrees out. And all of a sudden, I would phase out and phase back in at this time. And so I came to myself, and I thought, oh, it's so hot in this car. What is it doing so hot in this car? And I opened the car door, and the 90 degrees outside of the car felt like air conditioning coming in my car. I almost cooked myself. And then I realized I was sitting in the passenger seat waiting for the car to take me to Milford. So I came back in the house, and the water was running, and the refrigerator door was standing open. And I just cried. I was just devastated because I knew there was nothing to help me. That's what everyone was told. So I stayed on this because at least I didn't have to suffer this, this issue down my leg. And in 3 months, I asked my husband, do you see a change in me? I don't have these floating moments anymore. It was like my body was moving faster than my brain. It would scare me. I would lose control. And he said, I have noticed it, but I didn't want to say anything in case you hadn't noticed it. And he didn't want me to think that he felt bad. He didn't want me to have this. Of course he didn't. He's a very good husband. So the next day, my sister called me, and she said, I don't know what that stuff is you're drinking, but it has given me back my sister. And since then, I have written 3 books on Amazon on my memories. Yeah. Just amazing. And I am very, very happy to be able to cuddle and love my grandchildren. Very, very precious things that I would be missing at this time. And I have been myself now for almost 11 years. It took about 3 months for me to fully come back, but I came back and I've stayed back, and I just thank God for the day that Alan Noble called me. I really do.
There's your 3 books. The first one, You Ask God for What, and your other 3 books. And it's amazing to me, these are based a lot on your memoirs through your life, that somebody couldn't remember why they were in front of the refrigerator or sitting in a car waiting for it to drive itself. And now here you are writing books based on memories. I think that's pretty amazing. Hey, Pat, so that all happened kind of in the first 3-4 months or so,
Yes.
but you've been on the product for, almost 11 years now. And funny, we were just talking, and you told me something new I didn't know, that even over particularly the last 8 years, you've seen continual changes. Just want to share quickly kind of what you were sharing with me.
I had issues with my bowels. Nobody likes to talk about that. That's the forbidden conversation, but it was terrible. Profuse bleeding even. And that has all disappeared. After about 3 years, 2 to 3 years, that disappeared. I've never had the issue again. And then all my life, I had a thyroid deficiency. And thyroid, because that makes a big difference in a lot of your body. And it had been 35 years that I had since I had a healthy thyroid reading. They do a blood test, And so for the first time in 35 years, 2 years ago, I had a normal thyroid reading. And I'm not even on thyroid medication. I refused to take it because it made me feel bad. So
you were on a SIA for 8 years, and it was improving. You were telling me it was improving little bit by little bit by little bit. Yes. By the 8th year, for the first time in your life, you had it's
measured perfect now.
And you also lost a little bit of weight over the last 10 years, haven't you?
I have. You wouldn't believe.
Did we tell them?
I lost 153 pounds over the last 10 years.
Quite incredible.
Just amazing.
Quite incredible. Well, look, I really appreciate you sharing, Pat. It's been an amazing journey with you. I love hearing your story. It's amazing to think a decade has gone by since we had our first conversation. But
since you saved my life.
You're very kind. It's an astonishing technology, and I appreciate you sharing it. I do want to stress to everybody, of course, ASEA is not a treatment or cure for any disease or medical condition. Really, our product does nothing. We're simply feeding our body more of these powerful molecules and letting these molecules signal and communicate with the body. The body is the miracle. The body's the miracle. And if we can give the body the right resources, it's amazing. It's amazing what can happen. So thank you, Pat, for sharing. Very, very much appreciated. I'm sure everybody loved hearing your story here today. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.